Good morning, viewers. You are watching Defense Communic. Apple's iPhone production faces disruption as Foxconn experiences a significant withdrawal of Chinese engineers from its Indian facilities, impacting the ramp-up for iPhone 17 manufacturing. This exodus, influenced by China's efforts to restrict technology transfer and skilled labor exports, threatens Apple's ambitious goals to shift iPhone production to India amidst rising geopolitical tensions and supply chain diversification efforts. Apple's iPhone production faces disruption as Foxconn experiences a significant withdrawal of Chinese engineers from its Indian facilities, impacting the ramp-up for iPhone 17 manufacturing. Apple's largest iPhone manufacturer has recalled over 300 Chinese engineers and technicians from its Indian production facilities, creating significant operational challenges as the iPhone maker prepares for iPhone 17 manufacturing. The mass withdrawal, which began 2 months ago, leaves only Taiwanese support staff at Foxconn's southern India plants. According to reports, this move could delay the training of Indian workers and slow the transfer of technical know-how, which may lead to higher production costs. Foxconn has reportedly informed the Indian government about the withdrawal. So far, officials have not noticed any major impact on production. The exodus comes as a major disruption to Apple's India expansion strategy, particularly as Foxconn constructs a new iPhone assembly facility in the region. While product quality may remain unaffected, assembly line efficiency could suffer during the critical ramp-up period for next-generation iPhone production. China blocks tech talent migration to rival manufacturing hubs. Beijing officials have quietly pressured regulatory agencies and local governments to restrict technology transfers and skilled labor exports to India and Southeast Asia. This coordinated effort aims to prevent Chinese companies from relocating manufacturing capabilities to competing nations amid escalating U.S.-China trade tensions. China's actions come as countries like India and Vietnam aggressively court global technology companies seeking to diversify their supply chains away from Chinese dependence. Apple CEO Tim Cook has consistently emphasized the irreplaceable expertise of Chinese assembly workers, describing their skills as fundamental to maintaining production standards beyond mere cost considerations. iPhone production goals threatened as geopolitical tensions rise. India presently produces 1/5 of global iPhone output, a remarkable achievement considering large-scale assembly began just 4 years ago. Apple had targeted manufacturing most US-bound iPhones in India by late 2026, a timeline now facing potential delays due to the technical expertise shortage. The development highlights the complex challenges facing multinational corporations navigating geopolitical rivalries while attempting supply chain diversification. President Donald Trump has criticized Apple's offshore manufacturing plans, advocating for US-based iPhone production despite prohibitive American labor costs. China-India relations also remain strained despite recent diplomatic engagement. No official reason has been given, but people familiar with the matter think China's government is tightening rules on sending technology and factory equipment abroad. Beijing may want to slow down the shift of manufacturing from China to other countries such as India. The timing matters because India now makes nearly 20% of all iPhones worldwide. Foxconn recently put about $2.56 billion into a new plant near Bengaluru and hopes to assemble 100,000 iPhones there by December. Between March and May alone, Foxconn shipped iPhones worth $3.2 billion from India, with almost all of them going to the United States. Some sources told that China has also advised certain citizens to leave India because trade tensions are rising and visas for Chinese executives are getting harder to secure. Apple CEO Tim Cook has often praised the skills of Chinese factory workers, saying their expertise, not just low wages, is why Apple relied so heavily on China in the past. The loss of that experienced workforce in India could make it harder to reach the same level of efficiency in the short term. Even though Chinese workers make up less than 1% of Foxconn's workforce in India, they play very important roles. They're not just regular workers, but the ones managing key parts of the operation like running production lines, checking product quality, and handling factory automation. Foxconn still makes most iPhones in China, but in the last few years, it has been growing its iPhone production in India. That's why Chinese engineers were sent to Indian factories to help set things up and guide the process with their experience. Now the sudden withdrawal of that experienced workforce is happening just as Apple is preparing to ramp up production of the iPhone 17. The timing is difficult because Apple has big plans to expand even further in India, including building a new factory. The shift is gaining new momentum under President Trump's current tariff proposals. In response, China has imposed restrictions on exports of rare earth minerals, technology, and labor, further complicating the ambitions of companies like Apple. India now produces about 20% of the world's iPhones, and Apple had aimed to make most of its iPhones for the US market in India by the end of 2026. Trump has criticized this approach, saying iPhones for American customers should be manufactured in the US, though high labor costs have made such a move economically challenging. Additionally, any Chinese effort to stop the transfer of its skilled engineers would further hinder the feasibility of large-scale US assembly. High labor costs in the US make this idea difficult to implement. And if China restricts the movement of its skilled engineers, setting up advanced manufacturing in the US would become even less viable. Meanwhile, India and China continue to share a strained relationship. While tensions have eased slightly over the past year, and high-level meetings have resumed, direct flights between the two countries remain suspended. India still enforces strict visa rules for Chinese nationals and maintains bans on Chinese apps like TikTok. On the other hand, China continues to block exports of fertilizers to India, even though such restrictions have been lifted for other nations. Thanks for watching Defense Communic.